I would say generally no. I've been flying commercially for about 25 years and I've never landed at an airport where there's been EMAS installed. I think most pilots are not even aware of what EMAS is or what it stands for. When we talk about EMAS, it stands for Engineered Material Arresting System. And it's basically an extra insurance or safety device at the airport to prevent aircraft from overrun and runway. It's installed in about 120, 130 places around the world. And it's an extra passive safety device for the airports and in the end the aircrafts. Well, the EMAS systems are installed at the end of the runway. So when an aircraft can't stop on the takeoff or the landing and it's overrunning the runway, it goes into the EMAS bed and it's stopped in a distance of about 50 to 110 meters. So it's a passive system that is always active at the airport. Well, it's not that easy if you just look at the airport, but if you go into the documentation, for example, the AIP, you will find it in the text section, or you will find it in the airport diagram, but it's not easy to see. Also, the Jeppesen plates, for example, have it in the diagram section. And we could see here in an example, for an airport in Norway where they have an EMAS system installed. It's called Kristiansand. You can see on the airport diagram it says EMAS and where it's located. And actually Kristiansand also have a description on how to use the EMAS. So if we look at this example, we have Saarbrücken Airport in Germany. You can see here in the AIP section that it describes that they have EMAS installed at one side of the runway. And also, as an example, the Jeppesen diagram section here, you can see where the EMAS is installed and it says EMAS. And another example is Kristiansand in Norway. They have 2 EMAS beds installed. You can see in the AIP section where it says they have EMAS installed, and also the text and diagram section has EMAS explained. Also, Jeppesen plates have the same with EMAS on the airport diagram section of the map. Kristiansand also have a text about how to use the EMAS, which is a very good example of the airport describing the system and what you're supposed to do. Well, you could see if you know it's there, because some of the system are built by blocks and you could see that these blocks are an EMAS. In the future, there might be signs that tell you that there is an EMAS there. And for example, IFALPA and a few other organizations have been working very hard trying to standardize the signs describing and pointing out the EMAS systems around the world. Well, we don't know where this is going, but IFALPA have worked hard on this, and also other authorities and organizations around the world are looking to do something to standardize this and show the pilots where the EMAS systems are and that they actually have these systems installed at the airport. Well, the good thing with EMAS is that you don't need any training to use it. It's a passive system that is always active at the airport. So if you have an aircraft that is overrunning into an EMAS, the pilots only need to try to brake the aircraft, enter the EMAS as straight as possible as they can, and the EMAS system will stop the aircraft in a safe way. There have been situations where the pilots have not known about the EMAS or been afraid of entering the EMAS and have done a wear off into the grass and the surroundings instead. But there is no training required, and the only thing you need to do is try to keep the aircraft straight. Well, EMAS is required in airports where you're not fulfilling the safety requirements of RESA or RSA. But it's extra beneficial when you have dangerous environment like tabletop, like water, like roads very close to the runways. Also, of course, if you have tropical weather with very wet runways or wind shear conditions or icy runways, it's an extra safety margin for aircrafts landing at those airports.